On this week's show, I spoke with Carl Sharples and Killian of Dimensions Tents and Structures. Dimensions were established in 2009 in Cape Town, South Africa, and have since become an industry leader in manufacturing Bedouin stretch tents as permanent or semi-permanent tented structures. Dimensions serve clients worldwide with solutions for events, rentals, and home use. Dimensions play a key part in festivals such as Africa Burn, Boom, and Cape Epic, where they provide and rig thousands of square meters of stages and tents across these events each year. In total, the Dimensions team consists of 65 people ranging from installation and rigging crew to factory manufacturers and operation managers. I always enjoy talking to the guys from Dimensions. They've been an inspiration to our company in recent years, and their rise and progression is admirable. So let's see how we get on. I remember when you were over in Ireland, Carl, Jake, I think you were in the States. Do you remember that?
Yes.
What were you doing over there?
I fly to the States actually fairly often, so I've been working with another company over there, just doing a couple of festivals, of the building tents. I've actually gotten to work for a couple of different events in the States.
Oh, sweet.
So
the last time you were there for Electric Forest.
So I think the last time I was there, I was doing Electric Forest, which is a big festival out in Michigan area, and then another festival called Firefly in Delaware.
All right, cool. Rigging as well, yeah.
Yeah, all rigging tents. So most of these festivals I've never seen like a stretch tent before. Kind of all used to these normal frame tents and peg and pole kind of PVC tents, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. So when you send stretch tents over the States, there's very, very few people who know how to rig them or have ever seen them, you know.
Are you serious? Yeah. Got to get over there, so.
It's quite interesting when you actually go over there and you see what the vibe is, because they're just so used to these little PVC little marquees, you know.
So wasn't the craziest mission Jake got flown over there to set up one 12 by 50?
Yeah, no.
Are you serious?
Just one setup.
I think the thing was two 12 by 15s, but it was for some VIP area at Coachella, on the edge of in some like super luxury resorts, and they told me I had to ballast the whole tent with concrete ballast. So I went the first day and we concreted this whole tent with concrete ballast on the beach, and then a festival organizer got there the next day and told me he didn't like the ballast, and we had to take them all away the next day and peg it to the beach.
Are you serious?
So random and weird, but it's interesting. Yeah, all the way there for like 2 days on site. I was flying for 4 days and I was only in the States for 2. So
I think they got to start doing them over there. I'm meant to be speaking to a guy called Ryan Core, I think his name is, and he's got a company called Core Events. And they've got loads of tents and marquees and structures, but I can't see them doing stretch stuff at the moment. It's a lot of really nice aluminium frame stuff, but they don't do any of the stretches anyway.
Yeah,
I think there's only like 4 companies in the States.
Yeah.
Doing stretch.
There's kind of like 2. I think most of them are kind of based around kind of like LA, California kind of area.
Yeah, that's where he's based anyway.
But like outside of there, like I haven't seen any other stretch tent companies really operating. You know, and it's like every time I've set them up at a festival, everyone's like, what are these things? They look space age. You know?
Yeah. They're definitely getting more popular. Anyway, it's pity there's no real events happening. How are you finding it over there?
Yeah, what, in the States or in South Africa?
In South Africa.
At the moment.
Yeah.
So our manufacturing facilities opened up, so we allow 20% of our capacity back. And we've had a couple of inquiry for tent rentals for temporary shelters at hospital entrances and just personal shops that want queuing facilities. So how that is in South Africa, if you're going to have a queue of X amount of people, you can't expect your customers to stand in the rain, So a little bit more inquiries. The funniest principle that happened the other day, which we're quoting on, is in South Africa, it's forbidden to drink alcohol.
Yeah, I saw that. Booze and cigarettes or something was banned from
cigarettes.
You are getting a fucking hard, aren't you?
The brewing company in Cape Town, they can't stop their brewing facilities, right? So they brewed 400 million beers, which now they're trying to put temporary shelter up to store them, because their facility, it's not like a shutdown process, with all the hops and the brewing procedure. So now they might have to dispose of 400 million bottles or something.
Yeah, some crazy amount, thousands and thousands of liters of beer that they're gonna have to dispose of. Yeah,
Jesus,
pretty sad.
Pretty sad. All right, yeah. Sure, they just ship it around the world now. A lot of alcohol companies over here, they changed their distribution, or they changed their production line to develop, like, the sanitizer, the alcohol sanitizer stuff. A lot of this, like gin distilleries and stuff, they've completely changed their production line, so they're not producing much booze. They're just producing these bottles of hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, because we were literally going into the busiest part of our year back here in Cape Town. So we were like, it was literally, we were going into like our crunch time, right, like at the end of our season, the big push, So we had a couple of really, really big events on, like a cycle race called the Absa Cape Epic.
Yeah.
We chased a cycle race through the countryside for a week and a half, which we had actually set up 2 of the locations already for the race, and then they cancelled it the day before it started.
Yeah.
And then we had another massive event out in the desert, which started directly after that. It's a South African leg of Burning Man, so it's Africa Burn.
Africa Burn, yeah, I've heard of it.
Which we're literally about to go into as well. So, we normally do about 100 odd tents for an event like that, and then so literally it came from being like a bumper into the summer to suddenly grinding halt. So it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think I was speaking to you, Carl. Remember, I was actually meant to be flying into Cape Town around early March.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So you arrived in the height of like at the Cape Epic. We set up too many tents.
It's probably about 3,500 square meters per venue.
Okay.
3 days.
And then we're going to do it. We're going to set up a venue every 3 days, but it's and so it's multiple, and you're constantly setting up a venue in front of the race. So it's kind of pressure, and then we do a lot more than just Bedouins as well. We do like raised wooden decks with furniture on, and fridges, and
nice.
Like the rider lounge and hospitality type areas.
Nice. Yeah, because I remember, Carl, I was speaking to you on the Friday, I think it was. I can't really remember. It was in around Paddy's Day. But you were saying you lost something like 180 grand worth of business just in the one day.
Yeah. No, it was a terrible experience as well. Eh? So people wanted full refund. Yeah.
Really? So have events been just completely cancelled over there, or have they been postponed till 2021?
And then people just want a refund. Yeah, it's a fuck up. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Crippling. And then, so, I mean, you see, the whole fuck up is South Africa doesn't get much government funding,
Yeah.
So we had to, in the last 2 days, dismiss 16 people. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, it was a mess. Yeah.
That's not good, because like I'd imagine you would be going back to festivals like Boom and obviously Africa Burn. Were you meant to be doing them this year? Because I know a lot of them, like you go to Coachella as well, don't you?
Yeah, we were lining up for Boom Festival. We were applying for visas for the States. So it was quite a process, but we were going to send close to about 15 people to Europe and America within 3-month periods, Okay. So I'm trying to get visas approved, and we were sending a team of 5 to Portugal for Boom Festival. We were sending 2 people to the States, 4 people to Holland, 2 people to Belgium, and then all of a sudden, everything fell flat. So it was quite a shock, because it's difficult. I mean, you're going 101 kilometers an hour forward, and then in one day you hit the brakes and do a U-turn and go 100 kilometers backwards.
Yeah.
People,
and it's kind of interesting. Like, I kind of wonder now what's going to happen. When they start lifting the regulations, with regards to travel, if they're going to make you have to quarantine for 14 days on each side of your trip. So if, I travel to Europe, do I need to quarantine for 14 days now on arrival and then 14 days coming back home to South Africa? So that's also going to be an interesting dynamic, I think, that's going to kind of be added to travel.
But what is the status on your side? I mean, in Ireland, what are they doing there? What's happening on the ground? Because we don't get much news reports.
Yeah, it's sort of the same over here. You only hear what's really happening in Ireland unless you go looking further. And you hear bits of the States and the UK as well. But yeah, really in Ireland, we're going through a sort of 5-step government guidelines that I think starts on Monday, this coming Monday. The Taoiseach over here, he's making an announcement today, giving everybody an update. But at the moment, we're still locked down, and we can't really go within 5 kilometers of our homes. Events like public events, all the major stuff is more or less being cancelled or postponed anyway. We'll cancel for this year up until September.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. Government funding at all? What sort of relief do you guys get?
So yeah, the government has been given there's a couple of things they have. In fairness, they gave a lot of staff and people who lost their jobs or have been temporarily laid off. They give them €350 a week as like an emergency fund.
And is that enough to sustain a good lifestyle and some club?
No. But I think, to be honest with you, I think it was a really, I suppose, a really good initiative by the government. At least it was something. Unfortunately, people can't really spend their money, but if it can cover rent or bills or whatever, but the rent freezes are lifted, it'll help people, I suppose, get back.
Government can sustain doing that for?
I really don't know, because I was trying to calculate the other day. I think there's over 1 million people out of work in Ireland at the moment. And the population in the Republic of Ireland is in around 4.5 million. So if you're giving 1 million people €350 a week, that's a lot of money. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about it, to be honest. But
and do you feel positive that it's making a positive change rapidly? I mean, do you find that on Monday, when they've made this announcement, that you'll go to your new level, or do you find that you'll have a bit more fun? The rapid rate of infection and your death rate's climbing?
I kind of lost you there, Carl. Can you hear me?
No, I was saying in terms of, I think it's my internet connection. Back now?
Yeah, well, I can hear you. I just can't really see you, but it's okay.
Hello? No, it's probably my internet connection. I'm sure they're cutting internet now as long as cigarettes and alcohol. Restart. I think
sorry, what were you saying?
So you say the prospect. So you say the prospect for like events and stuff in Ireland, you don't see anything happening before the end of this year, right? Or
well, I don't know. That's why I really started this conversations. I'm trying to speak to as many people as possible, be more, I suppose, find out more. Like it's hard to know what other people are hearing, but at the moment, I haven't been given any update for anything happening in the summer, whether things come back for the Christmas or when the restrictions have been completely lifted, potentially. But there's talk of events not really going ahead, especially large mass gatherings going ahead until there's a vaccine, which could be well into 2021.
Yeah, I know that's what also that kind of keeps me up at night a bit as well, because like in South Africa, we only predicted to kind of hit our peak in about September, which is the start of our springtime here, and the start of our summer season. So Yeah, generally now through winter we're a little bit quiet. Besides the international work we do.
Is that his idea?
But yeah, obviously with September being the peak of coronavirus in South Africa, it's also kind of we're quite uncertain as to kind of what our season and our summer is going to look like as well. Yeah. So. And it's interesting, because from obviously our government and that, they haven't really created any kind of guidelines or kind of they can't give us information on what's going to happen,
because nobody really knows. It's
really knows, kind of
so unclear. That's the struggle at the moment. So yeah, obviously everybody wants events to come back, but I just hope it isn't gonna take some sort of have some permanent impact where you couldn't venue capacity is just getting sliced in half.
Yeah, I don't see that really happening or being able to happen for a long time. I think maybe for the first while, once events can start happening, they probably will limit them to a certain numbers of people. Where you kind of gatherings over a certain amount of people, but it's not a sustainable way to operate, and they'll have to let things go back to the way it was. It's just not feasible. Having a rock concert with about 20,000 people, just isn't a rock concert.
Yeah, like a lot of pubs and restaurants over here, they're looking to open within the next month or so, but. So my train of thought is that they'll have to optimize whatever outdoor space they have. I don't know if you've been getting much inquiries about fitting out beer gardens or anything over in South Africa, have you?
Yeah, so I've done a couple of marketing email, just little blog posts and stuff about expanding outdoor spaces. Of your patios and just outdoor areas that you can now kind of semi-enclose with Bedouin, so that you can do social distancing within restaurants and bars and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done the same. I have a proposal made up as well. I must share it with you. But I think if there's any way of completely covering a awkward shaped area is the best way to go. Is go do 2 tents.
You see, in South Africa, the funniest thing is that people are eager to get back to work, So everyone, as soon as they said, okay, we're at level 4, everyone who's an essential service, now everyone's a fucking essential service, So people are opening takeaway, fast food shops are opening. So restaurants can operate, but they will give you a fast food service, So slowly, I think the system is moving faster than the regulations can hold people back. You know what I mean? It's like in South Africa, people don't really have the opportunity to participate in a lockdown experience. Like where my brother stays, he's in quite a rural area. He wants to live off the land. He's got no water, no electricity. So how are you hygiene? How you want to go lock down there? You got no water, electricity. What do you do there? You fuck around. You met my brother, yeah.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
Yeah, but you met my brother Lee.
Yeah, I remember Lee, yeah. How's he doing?
Yeah, he's doing well. So he lives in a remote area in South Africa. It's very, very out there. He lives off the land there. His lockdown experience, it's not exactly a lockdown. He can walk on the beach and he might see one person in 3 kilometers,
Is that that's just like a standard day to Lee, is it?
Yeah, it's a tropical, outdoor. What did you say? It's very tropical-ish area. It's very out there.
Coastal forests, and
what's the name of the place?
It's called the Transkei.
Yeah.
It's in the Eastern Cape. So
it's magical.
It's a province next door to basically the Western Cape where we live.
Okay, cool.
It's a very, very, very nice part of South Africa. But it's quite a rural place. A lot of small villages on the hills, on the mountainside, and
they've never had electricity installed there ever in the history of mankind. Yeah.
How are they living?
Electricity is not working. They just don't have it yet. And they've been promised electricity and running water for the last 10 years.
That's crazy. I came across one of your blog posts the other day, and I read it, the trip to Lesotho.
Lesotho, yeah.
Lesotho, sorry.
Yeah.
That's out in the sticks as well. That's a good bit out. That's in the countryside, is it?
Yeah, it's a super interesting place. So we were just on the right in the border. So Lesotho is basically in the winter time. Yeah, it becomes like a snow skiing like paradise. So really really good snow skiing up there. And so yeah, our team went to the festival there right now at the end of summer, but it's an area that's quite prone to heavy rains and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a bit of a last minute gig that came through, and like we've always got a strong belief not to turn like good.
Any business is good business.
Yeah, of course. It's a really interesting read. Like, look, some of the pictures that like the mud slide I saw, that just looked crazy, guys.
Like they had a truck, but the truck's only a rear wheel drive. It's got a diff lock on, but it's only a rear wheel drive. If you get into any kind of mud, it just gets stuck. And with all the amount of vehicles and stuff, and all the punters at the venue, when all the attendees of the venue had left, the venue was just so muddy from the thousands of cars in the parking lot that you couldn't drive anywhere, could hardly walk. It was like kind of like how you. Like Glastonbury after it's been raining, you know?
Like a real apocalypse.
Yeah. And the fact that you had to leave there when you were soaking wet and make your way to Africa Burn, was it? Was this last year? It's 2019.
This was last year. So the guys kind of went up, and quite a couple of the tents that were being set up at Africa Burn were used at that festival in Lesotho. So we had a timeline that we were working in, give or take a day. But yeah, so there's obviously just a lot of problems on the way that, like a number of flat tires due to trying to drive in the mud. The tow bar that came off their truck.
How many kilometers is it off-road?
Well, I think in all, it was about 2,500 kilometer round trip.
Yeah.
To Lesotho and then back to Cape Town.
2,500 kilometers.
And then they probably did about 260 kilometers on gravel road as well.
Yeah, off road.
Man.
It's on dirt road, so with a heavy load, and after those tents got loaded onto the truck and they were still wet,
Yeah.
The truck was already very close to being overloaded when it went up, and now with the wet tents it was overloaded. So the guys had to try and drive back at night time and miss the way bridges.
So like when you're operating, would you only operate within South Africa, or I know you obviously distribute internationally and stuff, but when you're doing your rentals and rigging jobs by car, by vehicle, do you go further than South Africa? Because obviously it's so.
Yeah, well, we've done a tent out in like West Africa, right on
in
the top of right in West Africa in Ghana, in like a mining town. We did a huge mega structure over a gold mine.
Oh, sweet! Was that Stellenbosch?
No. It was in Ghana, which is in West Africa.
Oh, okay.
No, we operate in South Africa, so sometimes we'll do Cape Town, Joburg, which is about 1,800 kilometers to do an installation. But we limit the amount of square meters. So if it's like 3,500 or 4,000 square meters, then we'll make the drive there. And we'll any job if it's scale of numbers. The problem is as soon as you start driving too far, your cost of transport goes up, which makes the job unviable.
Yeah, of course. In regards to your distribution, Carl, what are you thinking this year? Like, are you going to be able to ship internationally, or are you still getting inquiries from other countries?
So it's quite a weird phenomenon. Like a month ago, the lockdown. About a month ago, it was a state of emergency. There was, I have 65 staff. We closed the shop and we all left the premises,
Yeah.
It was like I could sustain business or covering costs. Because you see, there's no financial support from the government for any small business. in 3 months I'll have to pack up all my assets and find a new premises or put it in my garden at my house. I don't know, you know.
So your rent hasn't been frozen or anything like that on the warehouse?
No, it's state of anything that you get is 65% of your employee salaries. Yeah.
So our government has basically encouraged us to trying to carry on paying our staff, to carry on paying our debtors, and to carry on paying insurance and rent, so that we don't crash the economy.
But you guys have no business.
Not giving us any kind of relief. So, like, you know, you dig very deep into like all kind of reserves that you've built up throughout the whole year.
Yeah, of course.
Now and yeah.
So in the last week, I've sold some tents internationally. So Belgium and Holland and France and Spain have bought a couple of tents, and I'm air freighting. Recently, some air freighting services have opened up. So if you bought a tent now, I can make it and send it to you.
Yeah.
Plenty, yeah.
Make sure people know that anyway. But
slowly it's getting back to work. I think in South Africa there's no choice to lock down further. The problem with the humanitarian impact and loss of, you know, this and that, and there'll be way more of a problem on your hands for like people that are struggling severely cross-border, not just coronavirus, you know. So
yeah. Because you struggle from other sicknesses over there, like HIV and TB as well is quite prominent, isn't it?
It's a big problem. So it's a big discussion at the moment whether to put the country into full force. The weak and the elderly must like do the isolation and then bring income. But if I ask my staff, because I had to make an ultimatum, the government said I could work, and I said to my staff, it's not like you have to work. I can't tell you have to work. You know, if you feel that you're vulnerable, you got the choice to say yes or no. And all of them said work. They can't not work because no work, no pay. So it's a matter of we have to work, you know. So they chose to work. Yeah.
So in South Africa, there isn't a lockdown as such. You know, everybody's still walking around as normal, or
we've got lockdown, okay, but we've got five stages of lockdown or 5 levels. So at first we went directly into level 5, which is the harshest lockdown, which means no one's allowed to leave your house whatsoever unless it's going to the shops.
Okay.
And then level 4 is slightly lessened restrictions. Essential services are allowed to operate. There's many shops or department stores that are closed. And then, obviously each level, but like towards 1, they kind of get lifted and lighter, you know. So level 3 is a bit easier, level 2 is a bit lighter, level 1 is probably back to normal, you know.
But we in the Western Cape of South Africa, so our party members or leaders or whatever the fuck you call them, what are our government locally here they want to fight for level 3 or uplifting the economy with the other part of the country, because you got Northern Ireland and our Republic of Ireland, I think.
Yeah.
Is it under
two separate governments?
Yeah, so that's basically the state in South Africa, but it's one government, but it's 2 splits, you know. So they're fighting against each other about, one says no, we must lock down, and the other says no, we must support the economy.
Yeah.
The political element, like our Western Cape government says lift the ban of alcohol and cigarettes, where the other part of the country is saying no, because there's no regulation against stopping cigarettes, but they just decided to stop it, you know.
Yeah, I'd say it's driving people crazy.
See it as unessential. So
there's been court orders and legal disputes about it now. Yeah,
from the diehards. Yeah, I'd imagine so.
But it's fucked up. I mean, the way they've done it, you're not allowed to buy any pre-made food at grocery stores. So you can't go and buy like a pastry or anything that's pre-made food, but then they open up fast food services like McDonald's and all that shit. Yeah. So the contradictions that are happening are wild.
That's crazy. Yeah, like we don't know where the rules get made up and who's making them up.
What level are you at now?
Huh?
You say you have like 5 phases, just like Ireland, but what phase are you guys at now?
4.
You're at 4?
Yeah, so we can do 20% of our manufacturing facility we can operate in. And I'm making face masks. So it's deemed an essential service. I can have my full operation running.
Yeah, I saw that. I'll be putting in an order for them once we get the chance. I
haven't done face masks.
The other thing was I sort of think that there'd be more, say, private gatherings, and I suppose it's different in South Africa. I don't know really your restrictions, but over here, like there's no the restaurants and pubs, there's no venues, like all weddings were cancelled. I suppose I'm hoping for more of a revival in the private gatherings, Jake, but do you see anything like that happening in Cape Town at the moment?
I'm pretty sure that when events and stuff are allowed to get going again, that we are going to have restrictions, to maybe under 500 or 250 or 100 people per gathering. So you might find that there is a lot more of these small gatherings happening, which could kind of either work in our favor or to our demise, Because either spreading yourself very thin to service many events and you're all over the place, whereas, we were servicing bigger festivals previously, where you can focus your attention a little bit. But yeah, I definitely think that, the numbers for events are going to be definitely are limited for the next while. I definitely see that happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Alan, do you see things improving as well with summer approaching there?
Well, not really. Like the weather, what's been pretty good about lockdown is the weather's been really, really nice, which is, it's obviously not normal over here. But I don't think people are that frustrated by the whole lockdown measures. It could be a lot worse, I suppose. I'm definitely frustrated. I can't stand COVID-19. But what'd you say?
I said you went into lockdown after us, yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know. I think it's been 8 or 9 weeks at this stage. It was around Paddy's Day.
Come to South Africa when our lockdown was starting.
Yeah. I still have I missed out on another holiday at the start of May 2 weeks ago. I was meant to be up in Marrakesh too, but
she's changed it.
Sure, you can't win them all.
Doing something here?
What? It's not here. It's not a funeral. The lady from the national government.
And it's crazy, quite crazy, uncertain times. So we're trying to just be as innovative as possible, So I'm just trying to kind of keep positive. There's lots of new creative streams that are kind of opening up. I see a lot of people changing their factories completely from, a friend of mine's a travel agent, and now they kind of changing their travel agency into a deep cleaning and desanitizing business. So
there's a lot of that happening over here as well. Like a lot of events companies have different company, I suppose, fabricators that were set up for, I suppose, furniture and more bespoke stuff. They a lot of them have moved into the work from home office furniture. It's like flat pack furniture, and so there's been a lot of that over here as well. It's good to see,
Yeah. But it's a weird phenomenon. I mean, it's like do or die, survival, fade away. It's like, so I mean, as the lockdown started, there was a bit of panic for us. So 2 weeks into lockdown, we were just scratching our heads saying, what the fuck's going on,
Yeah.
Later, I watched a documentary on these guys that are making these masks here locally. So I thought, shit, I can also make masks. So I started trying to contact government organizations to build up some sort of contract that I could supply the government,
Yes.
Which was a bit of a fail. Then I started marketing the mask privately, and we got some interest. Yeah, so up until the point of getting a little bit of income on the masks, I mean, we're not making money. We might just be covering staff expenses and supporting people with some sort of income over nothing, So it was also, it's a crazy, I mean, that business was also set up in a week, you know, like researching a new product, changing the machines that we have to work on the mask. It was like something I least expected. You know, I've got 17,000 square meters of tent fabric in my storeroom here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I was stockpiling fabric and all this crap, and then next minute I must sit at home and do nothing, you know.
So did you start a new company with the, you know, the services you have available, or are you still going under the Dimensions name?
I just trade them as Dimensions. So I didn't have time to do that, and look, if the markets carry on, I'll keep running a separate business. But the Bedouin stuff, I've got enough work now to carry on. And I know you're going to buy those 20, 30 tents that you talked about. So.
Yeah, that'll be coming.
Feeling comfortable, we'll make it. You know, we have to. Even if we don't, we'll still survive somewhere.
Yeah, so you've been operating since when? 2009.
Yeah, so we're in our 10th year next year. Yeah, so formally 2009, and before that. You know, I was like, just had a couple of tents that I was trading with. So when I started registering the company and taking it seriously with the number of employees, you see, okay. So you know, I traded a bit before that as a sole proprietor. You know, so I was in the game of buying and selling tents and renting and sub-renting tents. So
yeah.
You know, on a week, I'd set up 3 tents. I'd have one person helping me, and I'd be able to pay for my drinking money and buy some food. That was how I was surviving.
Yeah. You've obviously, I assume you know, your business has been on the rise ever since. Like, if this is what, your 11th year as a registered business, you've obviously never seen a drop like you have experienced this year so far, have you?
No, I think in South Africa, we always, I think we're young business owners. Myself and Jake have got a vision that, you know, we only have time to grow and take business seriously. So I think maybe we could do with half a year of consolidation, just to catch up with some of our services. But we've generally grown in 30% over the last years. We've definitely entered the game as a young owned business, you know, that we're eager to succeed. You know?
Yeah,
so
of course.
Pushing the limits where other companies might be like, oh, no ways. You know, we're like, no, we're back on. Yeah. We're keeping on. So, I mean, we've got over 100 tents. I think we're around 30,000 squares.
30,000 square meters.
Yeah. So I think we're building systems on managing the tents, washing the tents, repairing the tents. When you've got 120 tents, it's hard to keep your eye on the target, you know?
Yeah, of course.
You've got 80 going out, being rented in a week.
Oh, shit.
And then to manage and clean and keep them all repaired, it's quite a story.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of find this, like, the whole lockdown has been a bit of a blessing in disguise as well. Because, you know, we have been so full power over the last, like, 7-8 years that, like, you know, we don't even get a 2-week break in between, you know?
Yeah.
The longest you really get, sometimes the 3-4 days, over a long weekend or something. Yeah. So it has been a bit of a blessing in disguise to also kind of sit, reflect, you know.
Yeah, sometimes you know, like you say, you don't really get a break. I've been staying up at night recently thinking of what 2021 is going to be like. You know, if you take all the events that have been cancelled this year, put them on top of all the events that are meant to be happening next year, and you know.
Man.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to like triple the amount of people working for to make it work.
And do you find that you'll do a bit of business at the end of the year in September, because your season ends in late September, October? Eh?
Yeah, so we do a lot of stuff. We would still work in, you know, October, November, December. We wouldn't be as busy as the summer, but we still have bits. And then it's really quiet January, February, March.
Yeah.
March is sort of when it starts up again, but everything's up in the air at the moment. I think people need to, until, you know, more government guidelines are given, nobody's really going to pull the trigger on, you know, promoting an event or anything like that. Like a lot of the festivals over here, I'd love to talk to some of the promoters, but I'd say they've lost a lot of money in marketing spend for the first few months of the year. And like, you know, if they have to change their whole marketing for 2021, it's going to cost them a lot, you know, and that's going to dig into their margins again.
And do they get a business relief or nothing from the state?
Not that I'm aware of. I believe you can claim back if you have. You can claim back rates on a premises from 2019 or something. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. But I from what I gathered, there's not too much relief. There's employee wage relief, but there's nothing else. I don't think at the moment.
The businesses, do you think, will not make it through the lockdown period?
Yeah, you know, our situation is tricky enough. You know, we're obviously only young as well, so we've got one or two small sort of bespoke inquiries, which at the moment is keeping us going.
Yeah.
But you know, like definitely from where it should be at the moment is way lower. So one of the main reasons, you know, I want to talk to people is just see how they can, I suppose, predict what's going to happen for the rest of the year and how they plan on staying above water, you know.
And your opinion on the matter, if you were the state governor and the health executive of Ireland, would you say let business prosper, let health prosper?
No, to be honest with you, I think the Irish government have done a really good job. I actually wrote to the HSE at one stage, just, you know, complimenting them. So I think, you know, that if you compare us to the UK or the States, I feel bad for the USA. But the UK are really, really suffering at the moment. Their numbers are huge, and it's happened fast as well, you know.
Yeah. But I see to level 4 now, eh?
Who have?
The United Kingdom.
Really? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if the same, you know, the same method like across worldwide or what, but you know, Ireland hasn't even gotten into phase 1, which starts on Monday, the 18th.
Well, and I find it pretty interesting. So, like in South Africa, there's a lot of people who they call them asymptomatic. So, they if you get tested, you can carry the virus, but you literally got no symptoms of it. So,
yeah, that's the worrying part.
You carry it, but and you might get like a mild flu type symptom. So, you know, with a lot of people getting that as well, like the kind of the vibe that I'm getting from a lot of people is that, you know,
it's hit and miss.
It's a bit of a hit and miss, and I'd rather get back to work and get the economy going.
Yeah.
You know, and then try to, at least kind of just carry on daily life a little bit.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming on and having a chat. It's good to hear where you're at over there. Hopefully I'll be able to get down to you at some stage this year. I'm trying to cash in on my flight.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's a good thing. Otherwise, you'd still be here with us. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. I'd be sweeping your fucking driveway or something.
But tell me, I'm very excited. I think we're going to make it through, you know. And you'll have to come. I mean, we don't know when the events will be back online, but we will be back online, and you must definitely come because you were coming at the perfect time. I mean, you was coming during the Epic and Burn.
Yeah, that would have been a great time to come. You would have seen us in like on full capacity. So
yeah, perfect. Yeah. I'll definitely try to reschedule for next year or at some stage anyway.
What was that tent for the Cape Epic? You would have loved this tent. Talking about mega structures at the finale. What's that tent we put up?
So it's a 20 by 6, 20 by 9. It's 30 by 60.
30 by 60, yeah.
So it's 1,800 squares.
One piece.
Well, three
of them, yeah.
All together. That's great.
How long does that take us to put up? A day?
Yeah, under a day, yeah.
Let's get going.
Yeah, a lot of we'll go the big crew though, but yeah, it's interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is also what's nice with like working with the well-trained crew, you know, when you're hitting a mega structure like that, you know, we can literally decide on like a plan while the tent's on the ground, and then each one of my crew can go and do their own thing. They know one guy starts attaching the corners, someone else does all the intermediate perimeter poles. So everyone comes. Yeah, it goes really, really quickly. I must do some like a time lapse videos of those big tents going up. I think it'll be quite a good process to.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to do more of that stuff this year as well. Just more. Well, that was the plan, but I don't know how we're going to do it now.
We'll have more stuff. Like, when in the heat of the moment, you arrive on a job site and you're like, cool, let's just smash this job and get it done with. You've got 5 others waiting for you. So
yeah.
The training, did the training help that we provided when you were in Ireland?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was really good.
Things and some installations after that, you used some of the technology that we provided to go forward, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. We've like within just 2019 itself, it was a huge growth for our company, as well as all the tents we do. Some of the installations just got more difficult as well. So the fact that we were able to manage them and hopefully move on to bigger things when the industry comes back again, it's quite exciting,
Yeah, and I think it's quite important to have those very difficult, tricky kind of installations where you spend 2-3 hours struggling on a site with a small tent, because it forces you, to think outside the box and come up with solutions on your feet,
Yeah. It's a good way of mastering everything, So that's the way we're going to go with BILD. Obviously we're delighted to be flying the flag for Dimensions over here in Ireland. And yeah, we hope to be doing bigger and better stuff when the industry and the market comes back.
No, for sure. No, we're
Jake, you got to get over here too.
I would love to. I haven't been to Ireland yet. I've done a bit of work in the UK, but no, it's close. But yeah, hopefully sometime in the future.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'll get you guys back over here again. But guys, I'm gonna finish it there. Absolutely lovely chatting to you guys again.
Awesome, man.
Thanks for taking the time to come out and
some Irish pubs when I get some time. Yeah.
Absolutely, we'll have to do another chat as well after the COVID, and we come into the studio this time. It's a bit weird like this.
Nice one. Keep well, eh?
Great,
all the best, dudes. Thanks.
Ciao, man.